The College Football Playoff Committee is going to wait till Tuesday, like a bunch of nerds, to give you their college football playoff rankings. We're not doing that, though. We're doing that right now. Make sure you're subscribed. College football, nothing but college football year-round. If you're watching your favorite pregame show as soon as it starts and you're watching ball all the way till 2 a.m., you're one of us. Welcome. Congratulations. You're a college football sicko. And if you're a sicko, make sure you're subscribed right here because you're just like us. If you're new to the show, these are our nothing but ball rankings. This is not specifically college football playoff rankings. However, it's a good pulse for the college football playoff picture based on who we believe are the top 11 teams, and then we designate a G5 spot. Now, the playoff language does not designate a G5 spot. It just listed as the 5 highest-ranked conference champions, which in theory could be multiple G5 teams. However, for the sake of simplicity, we're going to give one G5 spot out, and that starts with USF. Yep, you got the belt back, baby. Shout out Memphis. Now, you lost to Memphis, but Memphis just lost to Tulane, so as it stands right now, it'll work itself out in the American, but USF, as of today, Junior, should be your G5 rep. Now, keep a pulse on JMU. Heck, even give a little side-eye to folks out there in Annapolis. They'll play Navy at Navy this coming weekend. Will A1 USF, but as it stands right now, the Fighting Alex Golishes today have the G5 belt. November is going to be madness. That is very much so subject to change. But as of today, USF is our G5 rep. Now, number 11, I got Texas. Now, one of my favorite TV shows is I Think You Should Leave. And I won't be too specific here, but there's a specific skit within the I Think You Should Leave universe centered around this idea of allowing people to change. People can change. Texas can change. Texas has changed over the course of this season. After the first game of the year, we're all like, man, what's up with Arch Manning? What's up with that offensive line? I mean, you're eking out wins over Kentucky. Like, hey, Texas, what's up, babe? Looked horrible in the swamp. But ever since the beginning of the season, Texas has slowly but surely, progressively found their footing. Arch Manning, I don't know if he got a different prescription on the Warby Parker kind of contact lenses he wears. I don't know if we got some different Viore fitting sweats, maybe extra Red Bull. I don't know, but Arch Manning's playing at a higher level. I think Texas overall is playing a more complementary style of ball. Now, if you're one of those people watching this show and saying, this guy's a freaking idiot, this guy doesn't know anything about ball, man. Texas, way too high. If that's your take, no pushback here. They're going to earn this ranking. Texas is, if they stay here, or if they go higher than this ranking. I mean, they're going to play Georgia next week. You're going to play Texas A&M at the end of the season. If Texas finds themselves in the college football playoff, it will not be charity. They will have earned that spot. But as of this week, based on all the things that have happened around them, and that win over Oklahoma and the win over Vanderbilt, Texas, number 11, in the nothing but ball rankings after week 11. Now, number 10, this is where me and the committee don't see eye to eye. And I think the committee actually, for the most part, has done a pretty good job outside of me calling them nerds. I got Georgia Tech at 10. I'm not over here acting like we didn't have the first few months of the college football season just not happen. Because Georgia Tech, they lose to NC State the week before the playoff, or the weekend rather, before the college football playoff rankings came out. And at that point, the committee just said, nope, can't even look at you, Georgia Tech. We'll put you in the teens. I don't even want to see you. I'm like, have we not seen Georgia Tech up until that NC State game be undefeated? As it stands right now, I have a hard time looking at what Georgia Tech has done to this point in the year and seeing them for what that NC State loss was. Okay, I understand it wasn't great, but Georgia Tech, I'm going to go ahead and put them at 10, and I have a hard time putting a 2-loss Oklahoma ahead of them as it stands right now. So this is definitely subject to change, but right now I think Georgia Tech is and should be number 10 in college football. Now at number 9, I got Notre Dame. Wait, JD, you just said you couldn't put a 2-loss team ahead of Georgia Tech. No, I said I couldn't put a 2-loss Oklahoma ahead of Georgia Tech. I'm okay with putting Notre Dame at number 9. And my logic is actually pretty similar to the playoff committees here. I am a big In-N-Out fan. Raised in Southern California. I grew up on double-doubles and strawberry shakes and their fries. And people have hot takes on In-N-Out, especially from people that aren't from the West Coast. People have massive issues with In-N-Out and how you talk about them, and kind of a similar discussion with Notre Dame. People have massive issues with Notre Dame and what they've been over the context of the season and those 2 losses. Say what you want about those 2 losses. Say what you want about what In-N-Out maybe lacks in versatility of their menu, with them only having burgers and fries. They're not going to let you down or give you massive trust issues any given weekend. In the context of this season now, Miami lost, yes, it's a tough look. A&M lost, tough look. But I don't have massive questions about Notre Dame. I trust Notre Dame more than I trust some teams that I have behind them. Like Texas, I love you. Oklahoma, I love you. But like the reality is, we weren't sure who Arch Manning was for the first month of the season. Oklahoma, we weren't sure what John Mateer was after the injury. Defense gave us some issues after the Ole Miss game. Like there's some real concerns that I think are more valid for the teams behind Notre Dame than what I think of Notre Dame right now. So they rolled past Navy. That offense is starting to find their stride, starting to open it up a little bit more. C.J. Carr coming into his own. If they have C.J. Carr wheeling and dealing like he did against Navy, and I understand the numbers weren't crazy, but what he did throwing the football downfield, if he has that in the bag and Notre Dame's running the football the way they're running the football, it's the Marcus Freeman traits, it's the defense, it's the run. Like, hey, just all bets are off. Keep a pulse on Notre Dame. I got him at number 9. Number 8, I got Oregon. All right. Now, I think Oregon, what's impressive about that Iowa win is it wasn't like it was Oregon's style of ball and how they won. Ran the ball at a high level, but they scored less than 20. You know you're a bad dude when you can fight somebody else's style of fight and still beat them. That was Oregon beating Iowa. I don't have any issue with the Penn State win. I think if the committee has an issue with the Penn State win, I'm curious to see how they treat the Iowa win because they had Iowa in the top 20, and I think Iowa's a good football team. But Oregon, with a bunch of dudes out of the lineup for them, no DeCorian Moore, Sadiq wasn't a factor in the game or what wasn't available for the game. Oregon at number 8 feels very fair after what we've seen from them to this point in the season, and they obviously control their own destiny to be a college football playoff team, sitting there with 1 loss. Number 7, I got Texas Tech, man. And with Texas Tech, there's no qualifier. There's no, oh, well, they're good for a Big 12 team, or, oh, they're good for what Texas Tech has been over the course of the last couple of years. Good for Texas Tech, good story. No, Texas Tech is just good. There's no good story around Texas Tech. What they do on the defensive side of the football, that front 7 can hang with anyone in college football. Those weapons, I think, are quietly some of the better rooms in college football. In the running back and receiver room, Baron Morton, if he's able to stay healthy, they're going to have a chance. That's the one thing you're saying. Can Baron Morton sustain throughout the entirety of the season? Because if they have that group all together and playing at a healthy level, they're going to be tough to beat. Not just in the Big 12, but like Big 10, SEC, you name it. Like Texas Tech can play with anybody. No qualifier on Texas Tech. One more thing a lot here on Texas Tech. A lot of people are going to be very quick to say, oh, good, they bought a roster. You can buy whoever you want through the portal, quote unquote, using your verbiage. But you still got to make it all go together. And Joey McGuire and Texas Tech majors into things that have nothing to do with NIL. Culture, chemistry, all those things that show up on Saturdays. If you don't have it, Texas Tech has it in spades, and they beat the brakes off BYU. We told you they would. We told you they'd cover. It was one of our best bets. Texas Tech, number 7, in our Nothing But Ball rankings after Week 11. Now, number 6, I got Ole Miss. Ole Miss might just kind of be stuck in this number 6 spot unless anyone ahead of them loses. For me, I said this last week, but I'll say it again. It's much less about the ranking for Ole Miss as much as it is just like get us in the dance, get us on a field with somebody in the college football playoff game, and give us a chance to have Lane Kiffin game plan against their defense. Because with Trinidad Chambliss, the way he's spinning it, with the versatility they have as an offense, they're going to be a very difficult out. So not a ton to say about Ole Miss after they beat the brakes off the Citadel. Shout out the Citadel, but Ole Miss, number 6 in the country, for us at least on this side of things after Week 11. Number 5, I got Georgia. November Georgia has arrived, y'all. They have arrived. Our very own Caden Smith was telling us all week, hey, Georgia, they're about to roll past Mississippi State. And I was like, I don't know, Mississippi State, kind of frisky, Blake Shapen, the weapons, it's in Stark Vegas. November Georgia has arrived. They're done playing with their food. They're done messing around for the better part of the first half. Recess is over in Athens, Georgia, all right? It's all business for the Dogs. Gunnar Stockton, I think going into the year, we're like, if he could just manage the game and get the ball to the right guys, they're going to have a chance. Gunnar Stockton is good enough to outduel your quarterback. Mic drop. He has outdueled the top passers in the SEC from Joey Aguilar to Blake Shapen, Trinidad Chambliss. Gunnar Stockton is the reason you can win football games. Okay, so the level he's playing at right now, throwing the football downfield, and if they're going to run for 200-300 yards a game, all bets are off. Georgia, wagon mode, has arrived in Athens. God bless the rest of college football. Now, Alabama, I don't think they're sweating Georgia too much at this point in time with them having beat Georgia in Athens. The reason why you feel confident if you're an Alabama fan is twofold. One, you have continued to pass the what I call spot test. We've talked about tricky spots every single week for Bama. It's Missouri at 11 a.m. kick. It's a frisky LSU coming to play you with no head coach. And like Alabama every single time is one of the most present teams in college football in the sense that they meet for that four-quarter game, whatever's required. Hey, we got to have Ty Simpson throw the football downfield. Awesome. Hey, we got to find a way to put the game on ice with the run game against Vanderbilt. Awesome. Hey, the defense got to show up. Awesome. We're only scoring 20 against LSU. Cool. We'll take care of business. They have an ace of spades at quarterback in the sense that no matter what the situation is, no matter what the other personnel is, at the end of the day, they got Ty Simpson and you don't, and that might just be the way that things go. I think he proved in the LSU game that he is not just a product of the system. The dude's able to make the system go in the sense of he can do things off structure, out of the rhythm, all those things. Like, he is good enough to make Alabama right offensively, even when the scheme isn't going to be superior to what the opposition has. Now, to be fair, I think the scheme will be pretty superior with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer pulling the strings, but you hear what I'm saying. When you have one of the best DCs in Blake Baker on the other side, he can still get you 277 on 35 attempts when you don't have much of a run game behind him. So, ace of spades and Ty Simpson, Alabama number 4 in this week's rankings. Now, I got Indiana at 3. And I think a lot of people will be quick to say, you're docking them for the Penn State or the Penn State win, rather. It could have been a loss, I suppose. That's not really my angle here. I've actually said I think Indiana has a case to be number 1 in college football based on their resume. I've had Indiana at 3 before. I've had them in that top 2 as well. I got them at 3 more so to do with the teams ahead of them. I think the Penn State win was massively impressive. Like, I'm not knocking Indiana at all for finding a way to get it done. Like, I think in modern college football, we've seen time and time again, especially this season, it is borderline impossible to have your fastball every single week. We say it all the time, but it is 18 to 22-year-olds with a oddly shaped ball that bounces funny, and you go play in different college campuses half the year. Like, it's a tricky game with a lot of variance. So who are you when you don't have 100 off the mound? Indiana was a team that found a way on the final drive for Nana Mendoza, 80-plus yards with his boys, finding a way to get it done. And so you can say all these things about, well, how good is Penn State really, and this, that, and the other. Like, I think, 1, Penn State's a talented roster, say that at the very least. 2, didn't have their best football and still found a way. Delivered a cinematic moment where Gus Johnson's out here just losing his voice talking about a Fernando Mendoza dime. It is what it is. Indiana found a way to win, and I'm not knocking them for finding a way to get it done against a good Penn State roster, rather. Now, A&M at 2, they're one of those teams that I believe will eventually just reach their flow state over the course of a game, or at least it's what we've seen so far this year for A&M. When A&M is on, they have as much juice as the one team I have ahead of them in these rankings. And in the SEC, I don't think anyone's touching A&M when they're rolling the way they're able to roll. Now, I'm not saying A&M won't still have a game where they may be let down a little bit or they're not capable of being beaten. But from what I've seen, when they are on, when Marcel Reed is firing, when that defense is rolling, when that run game is rolling, they have as much juice as anyone in college football. And when that's happening, best of luck to you. Like, I think A&M, too, it needs to be said out loud. Whenever I watch them, they're kind of a slow burn at times. Like, it's funny to say, but I sometimes don't realize how much A&M is up on a team until like the game's already out of reach. It's very much so what I said a couple of weeks ago, where you're at the beach and you're out there in the current and you're playing around and you're kind of keeping an eye on where your umbrella is and your beach chair is, and you look up in 15 minutes from where you just were, and you're like 30 yards down the beach. Like, the current's sort of taking you away slowly but surely. We didn't even realize what was going on. Sometimes I don't even realize how much A&M is up on a team with the way they go about their business, running the football, the explosive plays that are in the short passing game. They turn into explosive plays. Like, they're rolling right now, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch here down the stretch. But A&M has surpassed that 8-win mark at 9-0, so Texas 8-4 is now dead for the 2025 season. Try again next year, battered Aggie syndrome. And number 1, I got Ohio State. I think they're better than last year. We'll talk about that in a separate video, but I think they're better than last year. I think the potential they have in the passing game with Julian Sayin is ridiculous. Jeremiah Smith, he's ramping up more and more. The run game, you don't have Judkins and Henderson like you did last year, but I don't think you're like wanting a ton in the run game. The defense, I would say, is better than last year. Someone on this show said that Matt Patricia wasn't a great hire, and they're in position to potentially eat crow for that, so we'll do that when that time comes. But Ohio State, they're following a tremendous race plan. Started out with kind of just a little find a way to get it done first 6 games. Right now, though, they have a great stride, a great tempo. They're ramping up for a kick against Michigan, into the Big Ten title game, into the college football playoff run. This year's team is following a better race plan than last year's team did. That should not be overlooked. A big reason why: Ryan Day has been on this course before and has been on the mountaintop before in the 12-team playoff. The only coach now that's able to say that in the 1-year sample size of the 12-team playoff. So to recap it here for you, USF, our G5 rep, Texas at 11, Georgia Tech at 10. I don't care what the committee says. I don't have forget me spray, whatever they have, Men in Black. I remember Georgia Tech being undefeated, and that one loss is not going to deter me from putting them in the top 10. Notre Dame at 9, Oregon at 8, Texas Tech at 7. They're just good, y'all. Ole Miss at 6, Georgia at 5, Bama at 4, Indiana at 3, Texas A&M at 2, and the Ohio State Buckeyes at number 1. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. As always, make sure you're subscribed. Cato on the 1s and 2s, myself, JD Pickell. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.